The chandelier above me costs more than most people's homes. I know this because my mother mentioned it 17 times during the rehearsal dinner, once for each $1,000 per bulb. The crystal catches the afternoon light filtering through floor-to-ceiling windows, scattering diamonds across marble floors that echo with the sharp click of designer heels. Everything in this house sounds expensive. Even the silence has a price tag. I press my fingernails into my palm, feeling the crescents form in my skin. It's an old habit, one I developed somewhere between childhood and survival. Darling, you're slouching again. My mother's voice cuts through the murmur of arriving guests like a knife through silk. She doesn't look at me when she speaks. She never does. Her eyes are fixed on my sister, Victoria, who stands at the center of the grand foyer in her custom Vera wine, holding court like the queen she's always believed herself to be. I straighten my spine. The dress they chose for me, a bridesmaid gown in a shade of champagne that washes out my complexion, feels like a costume. Or a punishment. Maybe both. Emma. My father's hand lands on my shoulder, heavy with expectation and old disappointments. Your sister's photographer is setting up in the East Garden. Make yourself useful and ensure the lighting assistants don't damage the rose bushes. Each one is worth more than my college tuition. I know, Dad. His jaw tightens. Around us, relatives mill about with champagne flutes and judgment in equal measure. Aunt Catherine eyes me from across the room, whispering something to Uncle James. They both laugh. I feel it in my chest, that familiar hollowing out. 11 years. I've been back in this house for 11 years after swearing I'd never return. But Victoria's wedding was the ultimatum: show up, or be written out completely. Not that there's much to write me out of anymore. They made sure of that when I was 19. The scent of imported roses mingles with expensive perfume and something else, something that smells like decay dressed up in designer fabric. I've always been able to smell it, the rot underneath all this polish. Emma, there you are. Victoria glides toward me, her smile bright and sharp as broken glass. I need you to fix this. She thrusts her bouquet at me. The ribbon is wrong. Mother specifically ordered ivory silk, and this is clearly cream. Can you even tell the difference? Never mind. Just handle it. I take the bouquet. The flowers are perfect. The ribbon is perfect. Everything is always perfect for Victoria. Sure, I say softly. Because that's what I do. I make myself small and soft and accommodating until I almost disappear. And Emma? Victoria leans in close enough that I can smell her perfume, something French and floral that probably costs more than my monthly rent. Try to smile today. You always look so miserable in photos. It's exhausting. She walks away before I can respond, leaving me standing alone in the middle of controlled chaos. Waiters in white jackets navigate around me like I'm furniture. A decoration that doesn't quite match the aesthetic. My phone buzzes. Marcus. Outside. Take your time. I'm not going anywhere. Something in my chest loosens. Just slightly. Just enough to breathe. Marcus. My boyfriend of 2 years. The man my family tolerates with thinly veiled disdain because he works with his hands, because he drives a modest car, because he doesn't understand the difference between ivory and cream and doesn't care to learn. I met him at a coffee shop in the city where I'd rebuilt my life from scratch. He'd been reading a worn paperback, something by Steinbeck, his fingers stained with what I'd later learn was wood oil. He made furniture. Custom pieces for people who valued craftsmanship over brand names. "You okay?" he'd asked when I'd been staring at the menu for too long, my hands shaking with the anxiety of choosing something affordable. "I'm fine," I'd lied. "No, you're not." He'd said it gently, without accusation. "But that's okay too." Now, standing in my family's palace of carefully constructed lies, I slip out through the side entrance. The garden path winds through topiary sculptures and imported stonework. I find Marcus leaning against his truck, a reliable Ford that's seen better years but runs like a dream because he maintains it himself. He's wearing a suit. Not designer, but it fits him well, hugging shoulders that are broad from honest work. His dark hair is slightly messy despite obvious attempts to tame it, and when he sees me, his whole face softens. "Hey." That's all he says, but it's everything. I walk into his arms, pressing my face against his chest. He smells like cedar and safety. "That bad already?" His voice rumbles against my ear. "Victoria says I look miserable." "You look beautiful." He pulls back just enough to meet my eyes. "And yeah, a little miserable. Want to make a run for it?" I laugh, but it comes out shaky. "Tempting." "I'm serious, Em. Say the word." For a moment, I consider it. Just getting in his truck and driving away from all of this. But I can't. Not yet. Because despite everything, despite the years of being invisible and inferior, some pathetic part of me still hopes they'll see me. Really see me. "I need to go back in," I whisper. Marcus studies my face for a long moment. There's something in his expression, something I can't quite name. It looks almost like pain. "Okay. But I'm right here if you need me." He kisses my forehead, and I hold on to that feeling as I walk back toward the house. The ceremony is beautiful in the way expensive things always are, impressive but cold. I stand at the altar next to 4 other bridesmaids, women Victoria went to boarding school with, women who look through me like I'm made of glass. The venue is the estate's private chapel, renovated last year for an amount of money that could have fed a small country. Victoria glows. That's the word everyone keeps using. She glows with happiness, with triumph, with the absolute certainty that she deserves every bit of this fairy tale. I remember being 8 years old, watching her blow out candles on a birthday cake that cost more than our nanny's monthly salary. I'd asked for one bite, just one, and Victoria had smiled at me, really smiled, before smashing my face into the frosting. Everyone had laughed. Just sisters being sisters, my mother had said, filming it for her social media followers. That video got 40,000 likes. The reception is held in a glass pavilion overlooking the grounds. Sunset paints everything gold, and a string quartet plays while guests admire ice sculptures and a multi-tiered cake that looks more like architecture than food. I find Marcus at our assigned table, table 17, far enough from the family that our presence won't offend anyone's sensibilities. He stands when I approach, pulling out my chair. The gesture feels revolutionary here, where manners or performance and kindness is calculated. "You good?" he asks quietly. Define good. His hand finds mine under the table, thumb tracing circles on my palm. It's the only real thing in a room full of beautiful lies. Dinner is a 7-course nightmare. Between the poached pear salad and the beef Wellington, my mother approaches our table. She's had precisely 2 glasses of champagne, enough to loosen her tongue but not enough to slur her words. "Emma, darling." She doesn't acknowledge Marcus. "Your father and I need to speak with you. Privately." "The study." After dinner. My stomach drops. About what? We'll discuss it then. She glides away, leaving a trail of Chanel No. 5 in dread. Marcus's hand tightens around mine. Want me to come with you? They won't allow that. I wasn't asking for permission. God, I love him for that. For being willing to stand beside me even when I'm too afraid to stand up for myself. But I shake my head. I need to do this alone. The study is exactly as I remember, dark wood paneling, leather-bound books that no one reads, a desk the size of a small car. My father sits behind it like a judge preparing to deliver a sentence. My mother perches on the arm of a chair, perfectly postured even in private. Victoria is there too, still in her wedding dress, and that's when I know this isn't just a conversation. This is an execution. Sit, my father commands. I remain standing. Small rebellion. Insignificant. But mine. He sighs, the sound heavy with decades of disappointment in me. Your grandmother's trust fund matures next month. My heart stutters. The trust. The one thing that's mine, that's always been mine. The money my grandmother left me before she died, before my parents could poison her against me too. It's not much, not by this family's standards, but it's enough to finally be free. I'm aware, I say carefully. There's been a complication. My mother's voice is silk over steel. When your grandmother established the trust, she included certain clauses. Requirements you must meet to access the funds. What requirements? The lawyer never mentioned family unity, Victoria interrupts, her smile sweet as arsenic. Specifically, you have to maintain a positive relationship with immediate family members. No public disputes. No estrangement. No embarrassing incidents that could damage the family reputation. The room tilts slightly. What? My father slides a folder across the desk. Your social media activity over the past several years has been concerning. Multiple posts criticizing the family. That interview you did with your college newspaper about generational wealth and emotional neglect. Your relationship with. He gestures vaguely, that carpenter. Marcus, I say through clenched teeth. His name is Marcus. Yes. Well. Your grandmother would have been devastated to see you throw yourself away on someone so beneath you. Something inside me cracks. It's not a clean break. It's messy and jagged, and it's been forming since I was 8 years old with cake frosting in my hair. Grandmother loved me, I whisper. She was the only one who ever, she loved the idea of you, my mother interrupts. The potential you wasted. If she were alive to see what you've become, dating that man, working that pathetic job, living in that, stop. My voice surprises me. It's louder than I intended. Victoria laughs. Actually laughs. Oh, Emma. Don't be dramatic. We're trying to help you. If you just apologize, publicly, on your social media, for the things you've said about us, if you end your relationship with the carpenter, if you come back to the family properly, we might be able to release the trust funds. Might? There's also the matter of your share in the estate, my father adds. Your behavior has made it clear you don't value this family. We're prepared to buy out your inheritance, a generous offer, considering your ingratitude. The papers in the folder show numbers. Calculations. My entire future reduced to a percentage they find acceptable. This is extortion. This is family. My mother stands, smoothing her dress. You have until midnight to decide. Sign the papers, make the apology, leave that man, or forfeit everything. Your grandmother's money stays in family trust, redistributed to those who actually appreciate it. My sister's smile could cut glass. I don't remember leaving the study. Don't remember walking through the pavilion, past dancing couples and drunk relatives. I'm outside, gasping for air that won't seem to fill my lungs, and Marcus is there, catching me before I collapse. Emma. Hey, look at me. Breathe. But I can't. The world is spinning and there's a high-pitched ringing in my ears, and 11 years of swallowed rage is clawing its way up my throat. They want to take everything, I choke out between sobs. The trust. My inheritance. Everything grandmother left me. Unless you what? Leave you. Apologize for telling the truth about them. Become their puppet again. His arms tighten around me. For a long moment, he doesn't speak. Then, what do you want to do? I don't know. I can't think, okay. Then don't think. Let's just get out of here. He guides me to his truck, and I'm vaguely aware of people staring, of my mother's voice calling my name sharp as a slap. But Marcus opens the passenger door and helps me inside like I'm something precious, something worth protecting. We drive 20 minutes outside the city to his workshop, a converted barn where he creates the furniture that people commission from all over the state. He's never brought me here before, always meeting me in the city, at my apartment, anywhere but here. Inside, it smells like wood and varnish and honesty. Half-finished pieces are scattered around the open space, a dining table with inlaid details so intricate it looks like lace, chairs with curved backs that seem to defy physics, a bookshelf that spirals like something from a dream. You made all this? My voice is hoarse from crying. Yeah. He guides me to a workbench, helps me sit. Wait here. He disappears into a back office and returns with a bottle of water and a blanket that he drapes around my shoulders. Then he just holds me while I shake apart and piece myself back together. They're not going to stop, I finally whisper. This is who they are. Who they've always been. And I keep hoping they'll change, that they'll wake up one day and realize I'm their daughter, their sister, that I'm supposed to matter to them. But I don't. I never have. Marcus is quiet for a long time. When he speaks, his voice is careful. Measured. There's something I need to tell you. Something I should have told you a long time ago. My stomach clenches. What? He pulls back, meeting my eyes. My full name is Marcus Chin. Does that mean anything to you? Should it? Chin Industries. West Coast manufacturing, real estate development, venture capital investments. My grandfather started it in the 70s. My father expanded it. Now my older brother runs the American operations while I was supposed to take over the international division. The world tilts again, but differently this time. You're what? Rich. Yeah. Very. The kind of money that makes your family's wealth look modest. He runs a hand through his hair, and suddenly I see it, the way he carries himself, the quiet confidence that comes from never having to prove anything to anyone. I left 7 years ago. Hated everything about that life. The politics, the fakeness, the way money makes people cruel. I changed my last name to my mother's maiden name, Morrison. Started over. built this. He gestures to the workshop. I make furniture because I love it, not because I need to. I can't breathe. Can't process. Why didn't you tell me? Because I wanted you to know me. Just me. Not my family's money or name or expectations. And then I met your family, saw how they treated you, and I thought, if I told you, would you think I was just another rich person playing games? His hands frame my face, gentle. Emma, you're the first person who ever saw me as just Marcus. Someone who builds things and reads too much and can't figure out how to fix a leaking faucet even though I can craft a perfect dovetail joint. I didn't want to lose that. Tears are streaming down my face again, but these feel different. Cleaner. I don't care about your money. I know. That's why I'm telling you now. He takes a breath. Because I can help you. Not by throwing money at the problem, but by giving you the resources to fight back properly. Lawyers who can't be bought. Investigators who know how to find dirt. People who owe my family favors and will burn the world down if I ask them to. I can't ask you to, you're not asking. I'm offering. His thumb wipes away my tears. What your family is doing isn't just cruel, Em. It's illegal. Coercion, manipulation of trust funds, possibly fraud depending on how they've been handling your grandmother's estate. Let me help you expose them. Not for revenge. For justice. For the truth. I think about my grandmother. The way she used to sneak me cookies when my mother put me on diets at age 10. How she'd tell me stories about being poor once, before she married money, and how wealth had changed her children into people she barely recognized. She left me that money so I could be free, I whisper. Then let's make sure you get it. The next week is a blur of meetings. Marcus introduces me to Catherine Wu, a lawyer who specializes in estate law and who apparently handled his family's trusts for decades. She's a tiny woman with steel in her spine and eyes that miss nothing. Your family made several mistakes, she tells me, spreading documents across her conference table. First, they're lying about the conditions of your grandmother's trust. I pulled the original documentation, there are no behavioral clauses. The money becomes legally yours next month, regardless of your relationship status or social media activity. Second, they've been skimming from the trust itself. Small amounts easy to hide, but still illegal. Third, and this is the interesting part, your grandmother included a clause that if anyone attempts to coerce or manipulate you regarding the inheritance, they forfeit their own shares of her estate. Hope flutters in my chest, fragile as paper. So I can access the money? Not only that, but if we play this right, we can ensure your family faces consequences for their fraud. Catherine's smile is sharp. I also took the liberty of having an investigator look into your family's finances. Would you like to know what he found? The list is extensive. Tax fraud. Manipulation of charitable foundations for personal gain. My father's company using predatory lending practices. My mother's nonprofit that funnels donations into personal accounts. Years of careful corruption, all documented. What do we do with this? I ask. Whatever you want, Marcus says quietly. Destroy them. Or just protect yourself. Your choice. I look at the documents. At the proof of everything I always knew but could never prove. The rot underneath the polish. I want them to know what they did, I say slowly. I want consequences. But I don't want to become like them. Catherine nods. Then we'll be surgical. Precise. Just enough to ensure they can't hurt you or anyone else again. The plan takes shape over the following weeks. Catherine files legal challenges to my family's handling of the trust. The investigator delivers his findings to relevant authorities, IRS, State Attorney General, nonprofit oversight boards. We don't make it public. Don't post it on social media or sell stories to tabloids. We just make sure the people who need to know are informed. My family doesn't notice at first. Victoria posts honeymoon photos from the Maldives, white sand beaches and designer swimwear and champagne sunsets. My mother shares quotes about family loyalty and the pain of ungrateful children. My father's LinkedIn celebrates another successful business quarter. Then the audits begin. I'm in Marcus's workshop when Catherine calls. The trust funds have been released to you. Full amount, plus penalties they owe for the attempted manipulation. You're also formally removed from any liability regarding your family's legal issues. You're free, Emma. Free. The word feels foreign. Too big for my mouth. That evening, my phone explodes with messages. My mother, how could you do this to us? My father, you've destroyed this family. Victoria, you're dead to us. Dead. Cousins, aunts, uncles, everyone who'd ever looked through me like I was invisible now screaming for my attention. I block them all. The final confrontation happens not at their mansion but in Catherine's office. My family is required to attend a mediation regarding the estate settlement. They arrive in designer armor, faces hard with fury. I'm already seated when they enter. Marcus stands behind me, one hand on my shoulder. Catherine sits to my right, calm as a judge. My mother sees me first. You ungrateful, vicious little Mrs. Hartwell. Catherine's voice cuts like a blade. Sit down or leave. Your choice. They sit. Victoria won't look at me. My father's face is purple with rage. Let's be clear, Catherine begins. You attempted to defraud your daughter of her legal inheritance through coercion and manipulation. You've been skimming from a trust fund that wasn't yours to touch. These actions have consequences. She's our daughter, my mother hisses. We have every right to, you have no rights here. Emma is 29 years old. An independent adult. Your attempts to control her through financial manipulation constitute abuse. Catherine slides papers across the table. These are the terms. You will never contact Emma again unless she initiates contact. You will never speak about her publicly. Any trust or estate money that was Emma's passes to her completely, with no strings attached. In exchange, Emma has agreed not to press criminal charges or make your financial irregularities public. This is blackmail, my father snarls. No, I say quietly. Everyone looks at me. This is me protecting myself. This is me choosing peace over revenge. This is me finally understanding that I don't need you to see me, because I see myself. And I'm done apologizing for existing. Victoria's laugh is brittle. You think you've won? You think that carpenter's money makes you special? You're still the same pathetic little girl who, Victoria. I meet her eyes. Really meet them. I hope someday you figure out that tearing others down doesn't make you taller. I hope you find something real to love instead of just expensive things. But mostly, I hope I never see you again. The silence that follows is profound. My mother tries one last time. Emma, Please. We're family. You can't just, I can. I am. Goodbye, Mother. We leave them there, surrounded by lawyers and consequences and the wreckage of their own cruelty. Outside, the city stretches bright and indifferent. Marcus takes my hand, and we walk to his truck, our truck now, I suppose, since he keeps leaving the keys in my apartment. How do you feel? He asks. Lighter, I say, and it's true. Like I've been carrying their expectations and disappointments and judgment for so long that I forgot what my own weight felt like. Scared. Free. Is that possible? To be scared and free at the same time? I think that's what freedom is. Scary and beautiful and yours. We drive back to the workshop that's slowly becoming home. Inside, Marcus has been building something new, a desk with drawers that lock, a chair that supports weight without breaking, a bookshelf for all the books I've wanted to read but never had time for because I was too busy trying to be enough for people who were never going to see me as more than insufficient. I love you, I tell him. Not because he saved me, I'm learning to save myself. But because he stood beside me while I figured out how. I love you too, he says. Just you. Not your family's money or name or history. Just Emma. Just Emma. For the first time in my life, that feels like enough. The trust money arrives in my account 3 weeks later. It's not a fortune, not by my family's standards, or Marcus's family's standards, or anyone's standards except mine. But it's enough. Enough to start the nonprofit I've been dreaming about, helping other people escape financial abuse. Enough to go back to school for the degree I abandoned when my parents pulled funding. Enough to build a life that's real instead of polished. Marcus and I get an apartment together in the city. Nothing fancy. Just a 2-bedroom with good light and creaky floors and neighbors who smile at us in the hallways. I keep my grandmother's picture on my dresser, the only family photo I took when I left. Sometimes I think about them. Wonder if they learned anything, if they changed. But mostly I don't. Mostly I'm too busy building furniture with Marcus on weekends, or reading in the park, or drinking coffee that's affordable instead of artisanal. Living a life that's mine. 6 months after the mediation, I'm walking through the farmer's market when I see Victoria. She's alone, for once without an entourage. Our eyes meet across a table of fresh bread, and for a moment, neither of us moves. Then she looks away. And I keep walking. Because some people are worth fighting for, and some people are worth walking away from. The trick is knowing which is which. That night, Marcus finds me on our tiny balcony, watching the city lights. Penny for your thoughts? Just thinking about how strange it is. How I spent years trying to make them see me, trying to be enough for them. And now that I'm finally myself, I don't need them to see me at all. He wraps his arms around me from behind, chin resting on my shoulder. You were always enough, Em. They were just looking in the wrong direction. Maybe that's true. Maybe it's not. But standing here, in this life I built from scratch in truth and the courage to finally choose myself, I realize something. I'm not the girl who disappeared into her family's expectations anymore. I'm not the daughter who apologized for breathing. I'm just Emma. And that has always been enough.